In the killing of a Tucson Muslim leader, the body of Rashid Khalifa was found this morning. Jim Ritchie has details of the killing, which may have been for religious reasons.
It may have been religious beliefs that led to the murder of the head of the Islamic Masjid Tucson, a downtown area Muslim mosque.
All Muslim countries, they hate him. Saudi Arabia's religious leader, Ibn al-Baz, claimed that he should be killed.
Mosque members say 55-year-old Rashid Khalifa had come up with a new way to interpret the Quran, a Muslim book of sacred writings. Khalifa's version was based on computer research and numerology, which placed a special importance on the number 19. Khalifa also claimed that 2 satanic verses had been added to the Quran after Muhammad, the founder of the Islamic religion, had finished the writings, teachings which among Muslims amount to heresy.
In Turkey also, I'm coming from Turkey. In Turkey, all religious people, so-called Muslim people, they hate him because he shows they don't follow God's word.
And police have not ruled out the possibility Khalifa was the victim of a religious murder.
That'll be part of the investigation, obviously. We've heard some of the same things you've heard.
Investigators found Khalifa's body inside the mosque's kitchen area after reports of gunshots early this morning. Police say he died violently, but they say the cause of death will not be released until after an autopsy is completed. Jim Ritchie, TV4 Eyewitness News.
Say a Muslim leader may have been the victim of a religious murder. Investigators found the body of Rashid Khalifa this morning inside a downtown area Muslim mosque. Khalifa was the head of the Islamic Masjid Tucson. Mosque members say Khalifa was hated by Muslim people in Turkey and may have been killed because of his interpretation of the Quran, a sacred book of writings. Police say Khalifa died violently. There were reports of gunshots, but the cause of death has not been released.
Rashid Khalifa. He was found murdered yesterday in his Tucson mosque. There may have been a political or religious motive for the crime. As Margarita Zavala reports, local law enforcement officers are tapping other agencies.
A day after their spiritual leader was found murdered in the mosque he founded, the 50 local followers of Imam Rashid Khalifa say they are ready to get back to God's work.
The message will continue to be spread around the world according to God's will. The Quran says, "Do not think that those who are killed in the cause of God are dead. They are alive at their Lord and being provided for."
Khalifa is said to have had enemies in the Nation of Islam because of his anti-traditional interpretation of the Quran. Although they are looking at all possible motives, Tucson police officers are leaning toward a religious reason for the murder. For that reason, the FBI has been called in to help. And because of the possible international religious and political implications, TPD will also tap other sources.
One of the possible resources that we'll use in this investigation would be the State Department, because we're not experts on this religion or all the ramifications and different implications within the religion of different beliefs and how they affect other people. And my understanding is the State Department would be a good resource for that because they have people who are well educated in that.
Dakin says officers will concentrate on several threats received by Khalifa before his death. Margarita Zavala, 9 News.
Tucson police in the investigation of the murder of a local Muslim leader. 54-year-old Rashid Khalifa was found lying on the floor of his Tucson mosque yesterday. Khalifa had been a controversial religious figure for years and had received numerous death threats. FBI agent Jim Ahern says religious conflict could be the motive behind the killing.
It is apparent that some of the teachings that the gentleman was espousing were not popular in some religious circles. Therefore, one of the possible motives could be that he was killed because of these religious beliefs.
The official cause of death of Khalifa has not yet been released, although police say it appears he had been stabbed. At 6 o'clock, we'll hear from some of Khalifa's followers and find out how they are overcoming the tragedy.
On the case involving the murder of a prominent Muslim leader here in Tucson, 54-year-old Rashid Khalifa was found dead at his mosque yesterday. As Celeste Gonzalez reports, Khalifa's followers are now trying to cope with his death.
FBI agents say Rashid Khalifa, leader of the Masjid Tucson, had received death threats for the past 5 years, and his death could be evidence those threats should not have been taken lightly.
In this case, it appears that the threats may have been very serious, particularly when you get into religion, where feelings run deeper and stronger than they do in most other type of activities.
Khalifa had been known across the globe for his controversial religious beliefs. He translated the Quran into English and claimed people should worship God alone. That conviction may be the link to his violent death.
The idea that Dr. Khalifa advocated that we worship God alone and only use the source, which is the Quran, as the only source, and nothing besides it, in the Middle Eastern countries, is not well received at all.
There has been many threats to him in the past, but of course you never expect this sort of thing happening.
The religious leader, originally from Egypt, had hundreds of followers all over the world. Mosque members say they don't know who will replace him.
These are all things that, as a group, we have to discuss and work out, and at this time we can't answer that question.
No person or religious group is claiming responsibility for Khalifa's murder, and authorities say they are probing all possible leads. Khalifa's death has been devastating to some mosque members, but they say they're trying to move ahead and put the tragedy behind them. Celeste Gonzalez, KOLD, News Center 13.
So far, authorities haven't released the official cause of Khalifa's death. They say they're still waiting for an autopsy report, but police do say it appears he was stabbed.
Far away as Canada to mourn his death today, members of the mosque are now trying to put the pieces of their congregation back together.
Of course, it's been a major shock. We all love Dr. Khalifa, and we will miss him. But we are very happy for him because he is in a place that is better than anywhere. He's with God.
But Khalifa's violent death wasn't a total shock to everyone. According to FBI agents, the leader had apparently been receiving death threats for the past 5 years.
It appears that the threats may have been very serious, particularly when you get into religion, where feelings run deeper and stronger than they do in most other type of activities.
The conflict surrounds this book, the Quran, the Muslim Bible, which Khalifa translated into English. In the process, he deleted 2 verses he labeled satanic. The controversial leader also said Muslims should worship God alone. Police say those beliefs may have been related to his killing.
But it is apparent that some of the teachings that the gentleman was espousing were not popular in some religious circles. Therefore, one of the possible motives could be that he was killed because of these religious beliefs.
It isn't known exactly how Khalifa was murdered, but police say it appears he had been stabbed. Authorities say the autopsy report will determine the official cause of death and possibly reveal clues linking them to the killer. Celeste Gonzalez, KOLD, News Center 13.
Mourners for a slain controversial Islamic leader paid their last respects today. Family and friends of Imam Rashad Khalifa attended a private prayer service at the mosque where his body was found on Wednesday. Police believe the 54-year-old Muslim leader was murdered because of his religious beliefs, but so far there are no suspects in the case. Autopsy results released today reveal Khalifa was stabbed to death.
The autopsy results were returned to us and show that the victim died of multiple stab wounds.
The FBI has joined the homicide investigation.
Khalifa was an internationally renowned scholar of the Quran and a controversial leader in the Muslim world. Sal Quijada has more.
The FBI has joined Tucson police in trying to find those responsible for the brutal stabbing death of Dr. Rashad Khalifa. Police will not discuss details of alleged threats Dr. Khalifa received several days before the killing. And U.S. State Department officials may soon join the investigation, which may now include other Muslim countries.
Because of what may be some far-reaching implications in this, because of the religious aspect and the possibility that he was killed because of his religious beliefs and preachings.
Anybody who kills who kills a believer on purpose is destined to hell. And that's what will happen with these people.
The followers of the mosque, which Dr. Khalifa founded, say his teachings called for equality of all people and religions, both men and women. Khalifa's views clash with more conservative Muslims of the Middle East. Khalifa advocated worship of only God and warned against false idols or even lesser prophets such as Muhammad. Khalifa used a computer to mathematically prove the Quran was divine scripture.
Well, he discovered in the process that there were 2 false verses injected in the Quran, and it's mathematically proven that they did not belong to Quran, and that was also one of the controversies.
Members of Dr. Khalifa's mosque say they believe he continues to live in heaven and mourn not for him tonight, but for themselves. Sal Quihala, TV4, Eyewitness News.
Khalifa was once a science advisor to Libyan strongman Muammar Gaddafi. Investigators say an autopsy report will provide them details of the
Today says that Muslim leader killed in Tucson this week was stabbed to death. The body of Rashad Khalifa was found Wednesday. Tucson police have asked the FBI and the Department of Public Safety for assistance. A police official says they're investigating whether he may have been murdered for political reasons because of his religious beliefs. A funeral prayer was said at the mosque today. Funeral services are pending.
The father